Guys, what's going on? Chris Hansen here. I'm going to be explaining today the two core things, and there really are only two that you need to do to make money as an early stage entrepreneur. Mainly going to be targeted at agencies, B2B service, but applies probably equally well to SaaS. Agency is just my experience. That's how I got to $1 million plus a year. I'm going to break it down exactly what you need to do. I'm going to show you examples of how I've done it now, how I've repeated it for every company. Check it out. You're going to love this. So guys, one thing that annoys me about like some of the gurus online, the people that are giving you advice, is they never really show you exactly how they got it. It just looks like a magic sort of exponential curve. They don't really talk about the ups and downs, exact specifics in terms of the money that they made and how that they got there, whether it was one client, two clients, million guys for like a free low price point. Like what were the actual dynamics of getting to a big amount of money? Were they paying people? So I'm going to break down exactly what that I did for you guys to give you sort of that context. So guys, I was kind of pretty similar to probably most of you. Was goofing around 10 years ago when I was 18. Was in a fraternity, just kind of like jerking around at school. I got into a good school, UPenn, but I wasn't a super studious guy. Then I saw the movie Wolf of Wall Street and started hustling more, basically selling Adderall, e-com, eBay, crypto was coming out, small stuff, $100, $1,000 here and there. But then I got intro to the show Silicon Valley, which broke down kind of the startup model. A few friends of mine watched it. We started the first company, EdTech, tech focused, very big on development, kind of computer science. Typical path, we got grant money, talked to a lot of VCs. I sort of built systems and teams that I eventually used later on in my other businesses, but we didn't really get any revenue. I didn't have any fun money out of that. Ended up selling into another ed tech company. Then I decided, hey, I need to make money. I need to support myself, be independent, and really start, killing it with the ladies. So that's when I started learning marketing. I basically did every single gig imaginable, Craigslist, Upwork, etc. Eventually figured out things like cold email, reaching out to people cold. Could you do CRM stuff, different tech stuff that I learned from that first kind of free company that I did. Took me around 2 years, soup to nut, to get to 30, 60K months. Before then, it was kind of like paycheck. Stuff would come in. Occasionally, I'd get a big deal and I'd live it up for a little bit, but, it was really just a grind. Then COVID happened. That's where I really got my big break, was able to hire full-time people for the first time for less that were really high quality. And pivoted into doing cold email, which was in high demand and working very well at that point. We quickly got the company up to like 20 plus employees. So you can see here in Miami, was making a ton of profit. And that whole process kind of soup to nuts from my first company to where I got to with the cold email was maybe 6, 7 years. Okay, so that's what it took me that long to really be like kind of rich and successful. And even now, that company kind of came down from the peak. I had to sell it. Different things happen. I'm pivoted. So it's not like a guarantee that you're going to be like rich or wealthy forever, but good experience taught me some stuff. Now I'm on to the next big thing. So let me break down for you what you need to do. Guys, when you're planning what you're going to do to get your business off the ground, really you should only be looking at 2 categories of things that you do every day, things to strategize about and to work on. Number 1 is hunting. Number 2 is killing. A lot of people say you got to spend time learning, researching, studying, getting to know the product market fit, building out systems and automations. That stuff, in my view, is completely extracurricular. I've seen people work on those types of things, videos, content even, and make no money for 3 or 4 years. Yes, should you do content and try to develop it? Look at what I'm doing right now. But the key is really to put your time in the initial stages, the first couple of years when you're trying to get things moving and actually be employed by this on both hunting and killing. And, in the early stages, some of these activities may precede things like sleep, working out, eating, hanging out with friends. You got to think how much time you could put into these categories and try to pull or remove other distractions in your life, commute time, etc., watching TV, whatever, and dump it into these 2. So A is hunting. We're talking here about getting on the phone and meeting people. Okay. you're getting them into a conversation where they have a captive audience with you. Okay, so meeting them on the side of the street is not a captive audience with you. An event is not a captive audience with you. A group is not a captive audience. You basically just need a Calendly link and a rough idea of what you help people with. So it could be fundraising for SaaS companies, could be marketing for SaaS companies. It could be image consulting, could be Instagram if you have no skills. Okay, but you need an idea of what that is, and you need like some writing around it. You actually don't really need a website, a landing page, or even a sales collateral deck. But you just need to be able to talk about it fluently. Some people use a Loom, but you should have it in written format, a template about like how you would help a specific company, and then you can customize it. You can make shit up as you write it out. But you need like something valuable and, sort of semi-exciting. A lot of people have a hard time coming up with that. They just don't have a natural talent for figuring things out like this. So that's where working with the one network or talking to a guy like me, consulting to get that advice and just that brain working in a different way is probably a good move. Now, once you have that, you have to cultivate sources of people. Okay. For most of you guys, this is just going to be whatever social media you use most. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, there are businesses on that network. That's what you're going to cultivate sources of people, meaning you're just going to search for them. You could put them in a spreadsheet to kind of gamify it, but really you're just going to spend a certain part of your day looking for people who you might be able to help in some way, or you have some affinity towards or thing you could help them with. And of course, they have to have money. That's the one thing. You're already reaching out to broke people already. You're not going to get any money out of it. So they should generally be companies, unless you're trying to build some other type of thing that doesn't rely on money. Once you get them in, you need to obviously get them into, or once you get the list, you need to reach out to them. That could be commenting on social media. It could be DMing. It could be auto DMing using a tool, a partner of ours like Drippy. It could be sending mass emails. But again, that's all stuff that you spend time strategizing on. It requires money to build senders, to buy this software. DMing people, reaching out one-to-one manually is generally free. So that's kind of the thing that you can always come back to. And there's no limit to it, meaning you could be reaching out to tons of people manually, commenting on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of profiles if you so desire it, and if you have the time and the energy to do it. So that being said, you probably want to come up with a few different sources and then a few different activities that you can do, things you can spend time on. I always come back to a couple different things, which is basically looking through my own LinkedIn connections for people who have companies, researching them and kind of pitching them on some type of consulting service. I come up with the angle, then I put it in a document, then I work the angle, watch it again and again and again. So presumably at a certain point, you should be able to find your hours to meetings mileage. Okay. A good number is booking 10 meetings a day. I just did it today off of re-engagement for people who were on our Slack, just because I was running low on meetings for the week. Again, all those are not going to be high quality sales necessarily, but you'll end up getting high quality sales if you just keep the numbers up in total. But you basically want to be booking 10 meetings a day. However many hours that takes you, you kind of want to know. That way you can map out your week, how many hours you put into it. If you have 20 meetings a week that actually show in their quality, if you even have 10 meetings a week that show in their quality, that puts you in a good chance to get your business off the ground, presuming you're good at the killing piece. Okay. Because you're going to have to meet those people, convince them you're smart and trustworthy. That's the most important thing. I did a video last year on Jordan Belfort, 5 kind of trust sales levels. That's super important. Of course, part of that is, your case studies and things like that. But really, it's more so just like how friendly you are, how experienced you seem on video, your look, that you look professional, and then the things you say not countering what they already know to be true. So basically, if you're bullshitting too much. So that's done basically just through skill, being well rested. But a second piece to the killing is a clean sales process. So generally speaking, this means discovery, where you ask questions, a pitch, which can happen on the first call, but it could also happen on the second call. I like to do 2-call close, where you get a custom pitch, show them one deck, quick on the discovery, and then proposal call with a full deck. And the first call, they're not really sure if they're getting pitched or not. Like, they might be joining something or networking. The second call, they know that they might be buying something. So you've already pre-qualified them. Now you can feel more comfortable spending time actually building a document out for them. Yes, if you're going to get someone to pay you even a smallish amount of money, like $2,000 a month or something like that, you're going to need to put in maybe 5 hours of work into a deck, preparing, showing them actual marketing ideas. So there's going to be an opportunity cost associated with these hours that goes back in the hunting. Some people think they can just get super qualified leads and close them because they have a need for the product without building out any collateral. I find that this is not the case unless you have a great sort of brand name. You always got to go back and do a deep sales process. So then what you're finding out about this is basically the hours it takes on the phone to get it closed. That's not with one prospect, it's across all the prospects. So let's say if you're doing 2 calls, 10 leads coming in a week, 20, they're not usually an hour long. So let's say it's maybe 15 hours total, and you close one of them at $2,000 a month or $24K a year. Now you know that it takes you about 15 hours to do that. So you work the math out between the hunting and the killing. Okay. So basically, a simple routine for you guys, okay, would be to spend 0 time planning, analyzing, thinking about the market. You do that as you reach out to people. You do that as you're talking to people. Wake up, start hitting DMs, start hitting comments, coming up with different takes. You should have somebody booked by 10:30 a.m. Maybe you come up with a bigger campaign, you program that and smartly or something. Now you've, set up 2 or 3 meetings coming tomorrow. Maybe you find an event locally that you can go to and get some connections through. So you go to that. Now you have like maybe 8 or so meetings, and one of them happens. Now you spend a little time, maybe 2 hours, nurturing that lead, preparing for the call, coming up with content. And by you being prepared and you following the process after this, you're going to get more, of a close from them because nobody else is doing it. So even if you have all these competitors you think you do from Twitter who are like very smart and whatnot, by doing this, you're going to basically win the deal over, assuming you don't do anything to screw it up, like have sketchy pricing or weird packages or what. So check this out, guys. Hopefully this helps. Really, if you're not succeeding in business, it's probably because you're not focusing, you're not putting enough time into these 2 things. If you are having issues with the mechanics of either of those things, your look, who you're reaching out to, what you're saying, the verbiage of it, come talk to me. The last thing you want is this, kind of a procrastination standpoint, or having some idea that things are not possible because one bottleneck is in your process. Maybe you can't book a meeting because your message sucks. You got to iterate to get around that. A lot of these issues are easily solvable, but you got to talk to people, and sometimes it takes a little while to figure it out. Guys, check it out. Follow me. Got some new videos coming soon at Chris Hansen. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.